Campaign trail in Pennsylvania. I'm Ann Carrick, Fox News. Former President Trump returns to the battleground state. Fox's Alexis McAdams speaking to the RNC chair, Michael Whatley.
Here in Wilkes-Barre, we had a chance to catch up with the RNC chair, Michael Whatley. A big day here again on the trail, being in the swing state of Pennsylvania. Why is Pennsylvania such an important state for Donald Trump to win?
Well, look, I think there's two reasons. First off is electorally, right? There are a lot of ways that we can get to 270 electoral votes. Most of them go through Pennsylvania. And if we win Pennsylvania, along with a couple of other states, we feel like we're going to be in a commanding place to be able to win this thing. But more importantly, this is a state that represents all of America. You think about the families here, it is urban, it is rural, it is suburban.
And I talked to some of those voters from all of those different types of walks of life who said they all care about the same topics.
A recent Fox News poll showing the economy, border security, and foreign policy as the top issues for voters. The Democratic National Convention kicks off this week in Chicago, Illinois. Businesses are preparing for expected anti-Israel protests. Fox's Madeline Rivera reports.
There is at least one protest scheduled in Chicago almost every day next week. The causes differ, but pro-Palestinian supporters are expected to hold the biggest demonstrations. The coalition to march on the DNC is one of the largest groups coming to Chicago. For months, the organization has been embroiled in a lawsuit accusing the city of suppressing First Amendment rights by not permitting protests close to United Center, where the DNC will be held. They say they notched a victory after city officials allowed them to set up a stage and sound systems at Union Park, which is near the venue. A security footprint around United Center and McCormick Place is now in effect.
Several pro-Palestinian and anti-war groups are planning protests demanding an embargo on U.S. aid and weapons to Israel and a ceasefire in Gaza. America's listening to Fox News.
From the Fox News Podcast Network.
I'm Emily Campagno, and this is the Fox True Crime Podcast.
And I had nothing to do with her disappearance, but people still accuse me of it.
I sit down with the people who lived the nightmares.
I was in shock. I was just devastated.
The investigators who tirelessly worked on the case.
I feel for their families, and I really hope that they can catch this guy.
Bringing you closer to the story than you ever thought possible.
Listen and follow now at foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Get all of your favorite Fox News podcasts commercial-free on Apple Podcasts with Fox News Podcasts Plus. From Dana Perino, Kennedy, Ben Domenech, The Duffys, and many more. Subscribe now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com. The Fox News Rundown, a contrast of perspectives you won't hear anywhere else. Your daily dose of news twice a day. Featuring insight from top newsmakers, reporters, and Fox News contributors. Listen and subscribe now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com.
Hurricane Ernesto.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Delphi won't be dismissed. I'm Wes Woodward. Here's what's trending this hour. The judge in the Delphi murders case will not dismiss charges.
I'm Donnie Burgess. Special Judge Fran Gull says Richard Allen's attorneys have not proven that any evidence has been strong enough to drop the murder charges against Allen. The judge also denied Friday the defense's request to punish prosecutor Nick McClelland. Allen's attorneys say he's abused discovery rules, and the judge disagreed. A hearing is set for next Friday. Trial begins in less than 2 months. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett is expected to make some changes for city employees. Harrison Silcox reports.
They're all going to have to take sexual harassment prevention training every year. Hogshett's office says the mayor plans to sign an executive order in the next few days, making the 2-hour training session mandatory for everyone rather than a previous ordinance, which only had supervisors take the training every other year. This is all after 2 women have recently claimed they were sexually harassed by former Deputy Mayor Thomas Cook. They also claimed that Hogsett didn't handle their complaints well. Harrison Silcox, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A believed misunderstanding over an all-you-can-eat deal recently led to a woman being arrested at an Indiana Applebee's. Sasha Nixon has the story.
Shanisha Cobbs was charged with disorderly conduct after she seemingly got into arguments with staff and other diners at the Portage restaurant on August 2nd. Police say her group thought items on the $15.99 all-you-can-eat menu could feed all of them. Cobbs was later arrested and taken to the Porter County Jail. Sasha Nixon, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com. Now here's the forecast in the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight, spotty showers and storms early. Low temperatures in the mid-60s. And for Sunday, partly cloudy. Once again, another spotty chance at showers and storms. High temperature near 80 degrees. Gorgeous weather moves in as we get into the work week. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Over the last few years, things have gotten weird.
And for our kids, these things can be overwhelmingly stressful.
Scientific research
and real-life experience tell us that the #1 antidote to stress is authentic, trusted relationships.
So that's why I
am committed to building and maintaining a trusted space.
This is a trusted space.
Access free films and resources to build trusted spaces in your schools and communities at atrustedspace.org.
Emmer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. This is the Second Amendment, and this is the Gun Guy.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
With Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Gun Guy Show here on 93 WIBC. We're excited you're with us. Fabulous afternoon. I want to say a special hello. I got a whole bunch of buddies who are participating in the Blazer 88 ride to raise money for the Blazer 88 Foundation. This is for a bunch of veterans. They help out with disabled veterans. And I'll tell you what, this is a ride I go on every damn year, ever since they've had it. And if you're listening, and my buddies who may be at the VFW in Carmel right about now, that was the last stop. There's a whole bunch of guys, a whole bunch of men and women who are out raising money for our veterans, especially our disabled veterans. And the Blazer 88 Foundation does amazing things. Look them up. Whether you went on the ride today or you've been to their other events, they've had a black tie gala, which I helped MC last year, which was a lot of fun. But they do a tremendous amount for our veterans, including taking veterans on hunting trips and other outdoor adventures and just some really cool things that they do for our veterans. And they sponsor what is the coolest, I think the safest, best organized, best ride that you can possibly participate in. And for years and years, we started at the VFW in Fortville. This year, they actually started down here on the circle, right where I am right now, and they ended up at the VFW in Carmel, about a mile from my office. But I, not making a particularly good decision timing-wise, also scheduled an Essentials of Indiana gun law class for today that I was in all morning and most of the early afternoon. And so, and then I have the Gun Guy Show, obviously, so I wasn't able to make this year's ride. But to my buddies, my brothers, my people are out there raising money for veterans, and you're participating in the Blazer 88 ride. Josh Ward, who's the head stud involved in getting that whole thing set up. Man, my heart's with you. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for everything you're doing for our veterans. And if you don't know about this organization, check them out. Look them up. Blazer 88 Foundation. They got lots of other events, and I'm sure they're going to have their black tie gala last year, which was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It's the first time ever I wore tennis shoes with a tuxedo, but I rocked it. I made it work, and it was just a lot of fun. And if you're on that ride, God bless you, and hope you were safe, and hope you're having a fabulous time. And if you ride a motorcycle, if you want to just participate in a car or otherwise, you can certainly do that. As I mentioned, I taught my Indiana gun law class today out at Indy Arms, and I'll tell you, they are such gracious hosts out there. Their chief instructor, a guy named Tony Gregory, longtime friend of mine, longtime cop. Tony has been in law enforcement forever. He's got a training resume like nobody's business. I'll print out my training resume, both in terms of what I'm certified to teach, what I have taught, and classes that I've taken, which is a lot for 30 plus years. And I compare mine to Tony's, and his looks like the Encyclopedia Britannica, especially stuff that he's certified to teach. I mean, anything and everything. And he's the lead instructor there at Indy Arms. And not just law enforcement, but he's a fabulous instructor for civilians as well. But Tony was our host, Indy Arms out there. I talk about them often. Great group of folks. A great indoor range, by the way. My favorite indoor range. I mean, if given a choice, I'd prefer to shoot outdoors. But they've got a great indoor range. And I'll tell you what makes a good indoor range in my mind. First of all, safety, obviously. They've got ballistic partitions between each shooting station, which greatly adds to safety. You don't have to worry quite as much about the person next to you. But everything's on video in real time. They got people watching the range, people making sure people are safe. But I also put way high on the list importance for me at an indoor range, ventilation. Hugely important. There are things coming out of a gun barrel that you don't want to breathe. There's lead. There are a lot of other constituents of burning or burnt gunpowder that you don't necessarily want to ingest a lot of into your body. Primarily, though, lead, which just naturally comes off the projectile as you're shooting guns, out of virtually all guns, modern guns anyway, and that accumulates in an indoor range. You're breathing a lot of that. Now suddenly you're having more lead exposure than you'd ever want. And the key to that is cleanliness and ventilation. And I got to tell you, I've been on the roof of Indy Arms, and this is not a paid commercial for them or anything like that, because we don't have that relationship. But I've been on the roof of Indy Arms, and their ventilation system out there could, I think, power an aircraft carrier. I mean, it's unbelievable up there. And that's all to turn that air over to keep things safe and pleasant, enjoyable for people on the indoor range. And then lighting. I hate so many of the indoor ranges around because they're just dim. And listen, I understand you need to learn how to fight, learn how to shoot in low light environments. I've trained a lot of times on that. I've done no light, low light classes, absolutely positively. I'm going in to sight it in a new rifle, or I just want to go in and get used to the trigger on a new handgun. I want to be able to see my sights. I want to be able to see the controls on my gun. I want to be able to see what the hell I'm doing. And a lot of times at ranges, it may be perfectly lit downrange or sufficiently lit downrange at least, but it's totally dark at the firing line. And I'm sitting there going, man, I'm trying to do the best job I can here on my sight picture, or get used to the new controls on a handgun or rifle, whatever it might be, and I can't see what the hell I'm doing. And the lighting in Indy Arms is my favorite anywhere. So I'm kind of a tough critic on ranges generally, and on indoor ranges. Obviously, safety is number one, but beyond that, ventilation, lighting, cleanliness. Indy Arms is my absolute favorite place to shoot indoors. I will drive out of my way. I'll pass several other indoor ranges just to go down to Indy Arms to shoot. And that, again, that is not a paid endorsement. That's just my honest view of enjoying down there. But we do have the relationship, full disclosure, of where I teach my Essentials of Indiana gun law class down there. Had an absolutely full, sold-out class. We had the classroom down, big classroom, but we had it to capacity, and it was a great crowd. In fact, we went a little over our designated time. It's designed to be 4.5 to 5 hours. We went 5 hours and 8 minutes, and that's because we had a lot of great participation, a lot of great questions, a lot of what ifs. We do a deep drill on the legal issues around things like when you can use deadly force in self-defense, when you can use deadly force in the defense of your home or your occupied motor vehicle. A lot of questions and a lot of discussion on each of those issues, which makes it fun. And anyway, if you came out to that class today, thanks to each and every one of you. It was a great class. A lot of people stayed over with lots of additional questions and discussion. And it's something I enjoy doing because it brings to bear a lot of what I do every day in the defense of clients. I can talk about real cases and real people I've defended and the issues that arise in issues of self-defense and other gun-related issues where you can and can't carry a firearm, and who is or may become a prohibited possessor. A lot of people call my office every week, and they're very upset because they've failed a background check, either to get a handgun license or to buy a gun, and they're mad, and they're calling me, and they're going, I don't know why I would possibly fail a background check. I don't know why I couldn't buy a gun, because I've never had a felony. And I'm like, well, that's an answer to one question. Let's raise more questions. So we start going through the list, and the list we covered today. And you can not have a felony conviction. You can have a totally clear criminal history, but still be a prohibited possessor. And you're probably listening right now going, oh, hell, what they're talking about? What are you talking about? How can I have a clean criminal history and be a prohibited possessor? Well, you don't have to be convicted of a crime to get a domestic violence order of protection issued against you. And if you've had a domestic violence order of protection issued against you, guess what? You're a prohibited possessor. You don't necessarily, usually these go together, but you don't necessarily have to be convicted of a crime to get a dishonorable discharge from the military. But you get most people get dishonorable discharge. I never served, as you know, if you listen to the Gun Guy Show, but a lot of my buddies have. And a lot of the people who get dishonorable discharges is because they actually did get convicted of a fairly serious crime while in the military from the Court of Military Justice. But you don't have to be convicted of a crime. You just get a dishonorable discharge. I don't mean less than honorable. I mean dishonorable. You're a prohibited possessor. And there are a lot of other issues, a lot of other reasons that you can lose your gun rights other than a criminal conviction. And we go through that in this class. And a lot of people's eyes get really wide open because they understand how sensitive it can be and how easy it can potentially be to lose your gun rights. And anyway, we cover all those issues and a whole hell of a lot more. We've got another one of those coming up in November 9th, I believe it is, out at Parabellum Firearms and Indoor Range out in Avon. I love teaching out there. The folks out there take great care of me. We have a nice, big, comfortable classroom out there as well. So you're interested in that class. The next one, I'm going to be scheduling more at Indy Arms too, but the one, if you want to get on the calendar and get your seat reserved, you can actually do that out for the class November. Check it out at tactical-firearms.com, and you can get registered. When we come back, we're going to take a break. We come back, I'm excited about this. We've got a new sponsor here at the Gun Guy Show, and I have the owner there who's right here in the studio, and we're going to talk about his business. This is Rock Op Defense Solutions. Rock Op Defense Solutions, and these are manufacturers of fighting rifles. And they have more services available out there, including upgrade services and accessories and others. But I'm going to have Ross Earls, and Ross and I go back a long ways. We've been friends for quite a while, but he started this new business, and he is making some incredibly high-quality rifles that I truly believe are it's very accurate to call them fighting rifles. And we'll talk about what distinguishes other rifles from a true fighting rifle, and talk about what he was trying to accomplish when he started Rock Op Defense Solutions, what kind of firearms might be available out there, and why a lot of us here in Central Indiana and beyond are excited about the beginning of Rock Op Defense Solutions. But right now we're taking a break. We'll be back with my friend Ross Earls from Rock Op Defense Solutions, a new sponsor of the Gun Guy Show. When we come back, this is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
He knew about what was going on. He did not fire Thomas Carl Cook. As a matter of fact,
Brought him back for his latest campaign.
If Joe Hogsett knew about this, he needs to resign. He needs to resign, and the city county council, I get it, it's very Democrat heavy. I understand that. But do the right thing.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Guy Relford for Indiana Gun Club. You know, Indiana Gun Club is Indiana's premier shotgun club. They've got trap, skeet, sporting clays. It's where I learned to shoot sporting clays here 5 or 6 years ago, and I love to go out there. It's my home club. They also have a fantastic retail space where I've picked up several high-end firearms out there. They've got the best selection of excellent trap, skeet, and sporting clay shotguns, but a lot of self-defense firearms out there as well. Some of the very nicest pistols that I own, including Wilson Combat, Ed Brown, I've bought at Indiana Gun Club. They've got an incredible selection, and I've been a customer for years, and I'm thrilled they're now a sponsor of the Gun Guy Show. They also can cater your event. You want to have a fundraiser, a team building exercise for your business. You want to have a political fundraiser, check out Indiana Gun Club. They can cater in your event. They can feed you right there. In fact, Gordon Gamilla, who I've had right here on the Gun Guy Show, he's their events coordinator. He is a trained chef, and I'm telling you, he is fabulous. I've been to several luncheons out there that Gordon has put on and catered, and every single time, they're unbelievable. Whether it's your corporate event, your fundraiser, you just want to go out and have a good time shooting sporting clays, they can bring it all together right out there at Indiana Gun Club. Check them out at indianagunclub.com, located in Fortville, just minutes from Indianapolis, and really right next to Geist Reservoir. So it's an easy drive. You'd love it to be out there for your event and just show up. You don't have to be a member. You can show up, learn to shoot sporting clays, and have a fabulous and safe time. That's Indiana Gun Club, located in Fortville. Check them out at indianagunclub.com.
Pain from arthritis is just awful. That bone-on-bone pain is constant, and it robs you of so much of the stuff you'd love to do, but there are effective ways to deal with that pain. Tony Katz here. There are exciting new therapies that can get you lasting relief, and the place to go is QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, revitalizing your joints so you can move again. If you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know steroids and surgery and pain pills are no longer your only option. Learn how QC Kinetics can use advanced regenerative medicine to treat the pain, enhance your joints, restore your mobility, and give you long-term relief with no downtime. Talk to the medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Get your free consultation right now. QC Kinetics in Eagle Creek, in Greenwood, and in Carmel. Call 317-559-PAIN. 317-559-PAIN. Tell them Tony Katz sent you. Eagle Creek, Greenwood, Carmel, QC Kinetics. 317-559-PAIN.
Whether you're dropping them off for their first day of school or they're driving themselves for the first time, we know you have enough on your mind. That's why Hubler's got you and your family covered for 100,000 miles. So head back to school in a Hubler Q-certified vehicle, including a 128-point vehicle inspection and a free Carfax history report. Shop any of our 12 locations and choose from Chevys, Fords, GMCs, Buicks, Nissans, Acuras, Mazdas, Hondas, and many more. Over 2,000 vehicles. All makes, all models, certified vehicles, luxury vehicles, even the hard-to-find ones. Head back to school with peace of mind, knowing Hubler's got you covered for 100,000 miles.
Hubler's got you covered.
Visit drivehubler.com or any of our 12 locations.
Hubler's got you covered.
Warranty on select models less than 9 years old.
Your Indiana State Fair is here. Join us to celebrate the best of summertime.
This is the final weekend of the State Fair. Join us today to enjoy all of your favorite fair traditions. Grab tickets at indianastatefair.com and don't miss your last chance for State Fair fun.
Enjoy the sounds and sights at this year's fair, where there's more to see and do than you ever knew. Celebrate the art and nature of fun, presented by Newfield, August 2nd through 18th. It's only here, but once a year.
Folks ask, Salty Pete, what's the best part of being a pirate? Hello? It's all the buried treasure. I've been following this here treasure map all day. Time to dig. Oh, I went through a lesson, no trolley with... Arr!
You just hit a power line.
Contact Indiana 811 at least 2 working days before picking up a shovel. It's the only way to dig. Learn more at 811.safedigindiana.com.
Sponsored by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission and aired by this station.
Brace for the Indiana heat with Chapman Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. Get your AC tune-up for enduring efficiency and comfort. Visit ChapmanHeating.com.
Remember, Chapman, the man for all seasons. ChapmanHeating.com.
Tune in to the Absolute Retirement Planning Show.
When retirement comes about, we're now relying on what we have saved to meet those needs.
Sundays at 9 a.m. right here on 93 WIBC.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
Second to none on the Second Amendment. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. And by the way, see, here it always happens. As somebody who did not serve in the military, I start talking about military stuff and I screw it up. My good friend Kelly out in Avon, who calls in often, he participates in the YouTube feed. Kelly is just one of the all-time great human beings on the planet, and also assistant legislative director for Indiana State Rifle and Pistol Association. But Kelly texted me during that break, and he said, dishonorable discharge is a punitive discharge that can only be from a general court-martial, which is felony charges opposed to a special court-martial, which is misdemeanors. So general court-martial versus special. So if somebody is dishonorably discharged, Kelly is telling me that does require a felony level charge resulting in a dishonorable discharge. So there you go. And it's signed. This is awesome. Kelly and Avon, Senior Master Sergeant, retired. Bless your heart. But thank you, Kelly. If I misspeak on something like that, one thing I love about this show is, hey, I want to be accurate first and foremost. And if I screw something like that up, I wander off into military affairs as a prime candidate for me screwing it up since I never served. But I love it. People will, as my friends, gently then steer me in the right direction. So there's something I misstated, and thanks to my pal Kelly. Well, back to RockOp Defense Solutions. And we're talking here about the goal out at RockOp of manufacturing fighting rifles. And I've got here in the studio my buddy Ross Earls. Ross, we go back a ways. We've known each other for a while.
Yeah, a little while.
And so tell me, you just started RockOp Defense Solutions, right? You're a relatively new company?
Yep, new company as of about 2 years. We started our first year just getting through all the red tape and getting our FFL and SOT and getting registered with ITAR and all that stuff. And then
and let's stop right there and let's explain some of those terms to some people. Most people listen to the Gun Guy Show know an FFL means Federal Firearms License. Right? Then SOT, which stands for Special Occupational Tax. A lot of people don't understand what that term is and don't understand what that allows you to do. But what does that mean? The fact that as a gun manufacturer and retailer, that you have your SOT, what does that allow you to do?
Basically, that allows you to manufacture or possess short-barreled rifles, short-barreled shotguns.
NFA items.
Exactly, the NFA items. Suppressors or silencers.
Which means you can sell those as well, correct?
That's correct, and you can sell them. Yep.
Okay, and I mentioned, and this is right on your website, anybody wants to check this out, go to rock-opdefense.com. Got to put the hyphen in there. It's kind of like tactical-firearms when you go to my website for my training, but you got to put the hyphen in there. It's rock-op defense, rock-op defense. But right here on the homepage, right up front, it says the fighting rifle manufacturers. When you decided on that sort of as your call sign here on, or your opening statement on your homepage, what were you trying to communicate by saying you're people who produce fighting rifles?
It was about quality and reliability, and having the background in law enforcement that I bring and my partner brings, and being able to have something local that people can grasp a hold of and take with them. Either I say, if it's your somebody that's a defender or an operator alike, or if you're a police officer, it's just something that you can take with you and rely on, and there would be no questions asked. And I wanted something local, to do it locally.
Now, when you say local, you're based right there in Avon, right?
Yep, Avon, Indiana. Right on the
I've
west
been
side.
to your shop.
Yes, sir.
I've been there, and you are there really almost connected to Liberty Firearms, correct?
Yeah, Fort Liberty.
Firearms.
Fort Liberty, yep, right up front. And then, we're basically just connected through a hallway back through there. So.
And listen, I've done a lot of business with Doug Hunter and Fort Liberty Firearms. They're some of my favorite people in the gun business.
Absolutely.
Doug has cost me some money over the years. Doug will like send me a message on Facebook. There'll be a picture of a gun he just brought in, and he'll go, "I think you need this."
Yep.
And next thing you know, it's 2 days later, I'm out there with a credit card going, "Yeah, you bastard."
Never fails. Never fails. Well, I'll tell you.
But he only does that when he has something really cool that he would know I'd be interested in.
Yep.
So, all right. So what kind of products are you guys then producing out there at RockOp?
So our primary focus is the AR platform, the nomenclature of AR-15. We wanted to not only devote and focus a lot of our attention on agency sales. That's primarily the goal. We want to try to get into agency.
When you say
sales.
agency, you're talking about law enforcement.
Law enforcement, yeah, that's correct.
And does that include federal, local? What you
any agency that would need our services, I would really appreciate any opportunity to get involved with them.
And in your experience, I mean, and let's back up. You said you have a law enforcement background. I know this. I'm sure our listeners don't necessarily, unless they already know you. You have a long history in law enforcement.
Correct. About 20 years in July.
And currently Marion County Sheriff's Deputy, correct?
Marion County Sheriff's Deputy with the Reserve Division. That's correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, and so with a background in law enforcement, long history in law enforcement, does that allow you, in your mind, I'm sure the answer to this is yes. So the next question is going to be how and why. Does that allow you to build rifles that you think law enforcement agencies are going to be interested in?
Oh, absolutely.
And what distinguishes, I mean, from the I'll call me an enthusiast, right? I'm maybe a little bit more than an enthusiast because I've been a trainer for a long time and I'm a training junkie and I've been all over the country taking training, but I'm still just a civilian and just an enthusiast. I don't have a professional need outside of being an instructor. I don't have a professional need to carry a gun, right? I do it because it's my constitutional right, because I want to be as prepared as I can be to defend my community and my family. But what distinguishes what law enforcement is going to necessarily look for in a rifle versus just your typical enthusiast who says, gee, I think I want to go buy an AR-15?
Yeah, a lot of it has to do with component selection and the quality of those components. Believe it or not, there are different grades of metal. And there are things like what we call MIM casting, which is a casting of smaller parts and components that some manufacturers use that are lower cost. Ultimately, those parts are not what we utilize or choose to utilize. So it goes down to metallurgy, the type of part, the components that make up a particular rifle that makes it devoted towards a professional, semi-professional fighting nomenclature of a rifle.
Well, one thing, and we're a little past the bottom of the hour, so we're time to take a break. Well, you can stick around with us, can you?
Absolutely.
By the way, we have a short Gun Guy show tonight. WIBC has race coverage starting at 7 o'clock. Starting at 6 o'clock. So we're just a 1 hour show tonight. I may have you stick around for the whole damn show because I'm interested in this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm particularly interested because you just built me a rifle.
I did.
And I'm way excited about this. I want to talk about my rifle as well, because that's just how I am.
Yep.
But we want you to come back. But I really want to get into this because let me just tell you, if you go out and listen, there's so much crap. There's so much useless BS on the internet. I hate to even bring this up, but you go out to a lot of the gun-related pages, and a lot of people profess to have a lot of knowledge about firearms, being around firearms for a long time. And a lot of people will post on there, will say over and over again, an AR is an AR is an AR. The same basic companies are, the same manufacturers are cranking out all the uppers, they're cranking out all the lowers. And yeah, you may get a little nicer trigger in one than another, but it's basically parts is parts is parts, and they're all the same damn thing, and you're just paying for names. You want to go out and get your Daniel Defense or your Bravo Machine Company or Wilson or some other higher end. You're just paying for a name. You all are idiots. And they always insert lower grade AR in here. I don't want to pick it on anybody, but let's say Anderson, Palmetto, what I would consider a little lower tier, old Olympia. You remember Olympia?
Olympia.
Was it Olympic or Olympia? I forget. Olympia Arms were. That was my first AR, by the way.
That's going back a little bit.
Yeah, that's going back a little ways. But people will say, parts is parts is parts. You're just paying for name. My Anderson's is as great as your Bravo Company Machine or Daniel Defense. And I want to talk about whether that's true or not, because you're a guy who knows when we come back. In the meantime, by the way, our phone lines are open. You want to call in, you got a defense, you got a fighting rifle question, anything else you want to raise relevant to our discussion here today. You want to ask Ross a question about his rifles, about his business, give us a call, 317-239-9393. You want to call and make fun of me for screwing up military justice? That's totally okay, too. Whatever you want to do, 317-239-9393. We're taking a break. This is Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
No one from the Indiana Republican Party is going to demand Joe Hogsett be fired. No one from the Indiana Democratic Party, which claims to actually care about women, although they can't define it, they're not going to demand Joe Hogsett be fired. And if you want to know why the story matters, the Republicans on the council don't know how to speak up. Cowardice is not something that should be rewarded with your vote. And silence leads to the death of a city and a soul. And we shouldn't be those people.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
According to a 2023 Gallup poll, 71% of non-retired adults are worried about retirement saving. At Howard Bailey Financial, we don't believe retiring with confidence should be guesswork. In fact, our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we provide our Retire with Purpose toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you won't outlive. To receive your complimentary toolkit, text CLARITY to 866-482-9559. Take a step toward a more confident retirement with Howard Bailey Financial and text CLARITY to 866-482-9559.
This endorsement was not provided by a client of Howard Bailey. This individual was compensated for this endorsement. For more information, visit howardbailey.com/TS1.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to My Computer Career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Can you hear me? So can your customers. Get your message heard. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
I'm Jane Fergus. Democratic candidate for Vice President, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz in Omaha, Nebraska today, ripping on former President Trump with a little bit of humor.
Every opportunity he has, he weakens our country to strengthen his own hand. He mocks our laws. He sows chaos and division amongst us. And that's not even counting the time he was president.
Meanwhile, former President Trump is in the battleground state of Pennsylvania this weekend.
Under Kamala Harris and crooked Joe Biden, the American dream was dead, and it is dead. It's dead as a doornail. They'll never bring it back unless we win.
Vice President Harris pitched her economic plan yesterday, and some critics are comparing it to communism. America's listening to Fox News.
Fox, CNN, other news sources are reporting home prices are expected to decline into 2025, even after the election. Maximize your home sales price now before this downturn with the agent proven to sell for top dollar, Mark Dietel. Maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades to sell your home. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Sarah in Fountain Square had to say about working with Mark Dietel. After investing in a property in Fountain Square, I ran into some financial trouble and needed to sell the place fast. After hearing about Mark Dietel from friends, I hired him. Mark was able to sell my property within weeks over list price. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com. Tell him Rob sent you. Hey guys, it's Rob from my friends at Universal Windows Direct. Spring is here and it's only going to get hotter. Call my guys at Universal Windows Direct. At Universal Windows Direct, their Super Spacer technology makes their windows last up to 5 times longer than other Windows systems. So your windows from Universal Windows Direct perform better and last longer. Plus, Universal Windows Direct backs it up with a true 20-year warranty. And listen to this deal going on with Universal Windows Direct. Call today at 317-659-7574, and for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free. Buy 2, get 2. Buy 4, get 4. Buy 20, get 20. There's no limit. Plus, what a deal, 0% financing for 60 months. That's right, 0% financing for 60 months. Restrictions apply. For the last windows you'll ever need, go to UWD.com. UWD.com. UWD.com.
The show about gun rights, gun safety, and responsible gun ownership. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on The Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC. Again, I'm here with new sponsor for The Gun Guy Show, Ross Earls from Rock Op Defense Solutions, located in Avon, right here in central Indiana. I heard that Ross was starting this endeavor, and by the way, you have a partner in this, do you?
Yep, I do.
You give a shout out to your partner in crime?
Yeah, Pat Skronik. He's also a reserve deputy with the sheriff's office. He's been on K9. He's on one of our special operations teams.
Okay.
So we get some of that exposure as well. I work closely with them, and so yeah, Pat. It's myself and Pat
that's awesome
that are running this. So
and as we were talking about before the break, you guys really had as a goal to create a legitimate high-end, high-quality fighting rifle that would be attractive not only for law enforcement, but also private citizens who really want a top-quality rifle that they can rely on long-term. And I had a little bit facetiously raised the point that I see out on the internet all the time, and I roll my eyes out a little bit. But the thing you see out there all the time, which is, ARs are all the same, parts is parts is parts. They're all, same few companies are manufacturing all the uppers and all the lowers, and all these companies do is just slap them together, and they're really all the same. And my Anderson or my Palmetto is just as good as your whatever, insert quality rifle here. And I always call those the just as good as posts, which I roll my eyes at. Yeah. And that, in some select circumstances, might be somewhat true, but I don't think it's true at all when it comes to rifles, especially a rifle you may want to depend upon if your life's at stake, or the life of your family or your coworkers, your fellow officers, whatever it might be, may be at stake. When you started this, obviously you had a goal of manufacturing high-end rifles. How do you distinguish a true quality, reliable, high-end rifle from everything else on the market?
Absolutely. So I'll back up a little bit and say that something that I learned early on in the firearm community was that you have a lot of people that have misinformation.
Yeah, a lot
of misinformation, and they have great intentions, but they are not aware of some of the better options that are out there. And something I hear a lot is from people. They say, hey, I want the cheapest, give me the cheapest thing you have, or
right.
I want something cheap. Well, I don't like using the word cheap. Let's talk low cost, because at Rock Op, we can still produce a high quality, lower cost option, and we do offer those on our
all things
website.
are relative, right?
I mean, correct.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to come to Rock Op and say, hey, man, I saw a really cool AR at Walmart. I don't think they have them anymore.
No, they don't.
but at wherever that was at $349. Can you match that price? Can you get me a $349 AR at Rock Op?
We could do that, but I'm going to say that there's going to be better options because I'm going to tell you, I probably, with the quality products and the quality manufacturers that we utilize and some of the relationships we have built in the industry, I talk to CEOs and managers of these companies every week, and I can't even get their parts at cost to build a rifle for that. So there are some differences where that is concerned, and I think a lot of that has to do with mass production versus smaller, more quaint production and
So
quality controls.
At Rock Up, all your rifles are hand built, right?
They are. Yep.
So what? Again, I interrupted the discussion a little bit, but what makes a top quality, reliable firearm rifle in particular that's going to be attractive to people that may have to have their life depend on the reliability of that rifle?
Right. I'm going to say first things first is quality control. 100% quality control is what we model off of. And then my saying is cradle to client. The rifles are in pieces. They're hand selected pieces by myself, and making sure that what I'm getting from these manufacturers that we work with are top quality. They know what our expectations are, and they provide us with high quality materials. And being able to select those materials and have the knowledge to select those materials, and then bring them in and put them together using tried and true techniques, mil spec techniques, things from the manual that the United States military and other forces around the world utilize for this particular nomenclature of the AR-15.
All right. Now, if I'm not necessarily a law enforcement agency, but I'm listening to this, I'm a private citizen, but I'm thinking, hey, I want a high-end rifle. I want an absolutely reliable rifle. And I want to get it from a top quality manufacturer right here in central Indiana. Right. Can they get a hold of Rock Up Defense? Is that an available option just as a private citizen?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And that's the thing. We're not going to discriminate and just throw all of our business to the agencies or to law enforcement or to just limit ourselves to that, because I think it's as a 2A staunch supporter myself that I believe that everybody has that right, and I shouldn't limit what we at Rock Up manufacture to just law enforcement or agencies. That we need to be able to bring that to the table for anyone that wants to have a good, high quality hand-built rifle.
And you know what I've noticed is, because you're a cop, right?
Yep.
I've noticed a lot more cops have that attitude about private citizens exercising their Second Amendment rights than what people exercise.
I would agree with that.
Now, especially younger people.
Yeah.
Now, you've been in it a long time. You're 20-year law enforcement, but occasionally you run into the cop who says, only someone with my level of training should carry a gun, and only law enforcement or military. But they're becoming really rare. I think more and more law enforcement anymore, they understand the value of the law-abiding armed citizen. And it sounds like you fall in that category.
I absolutely agree with that statement, and I do. And I will tell you, believe it or not every cop is a gun person.
Oh. I know this. I used to run the range at Eagle Creek. And there were times on weekends, even though we were mostly civilians, they'd have some overflow training come out there. And look, no knock, because the instructors were top notch. I loved their instructors out there at Eagle Creek. That was when Lieutenant Dale True used to run the training division. Yeah. Big fan of Lieutenant True when he was out there, and they had top notch instructors. But some of the rank and file coming through, man, they used to hate my instructors watching them train down there, because some of the rank and file guys, they shot twice a year when they had to requal.
That was it.
When they had to requalify.
That was it.
And that was the only time they ever shot. So yes, some cops are not necessarily gun guys. I'll tell you what, we're past the 3/4 hour. We come back, we've got one more segment. I want to talk about my rifle. Okay. That's just the way I am. It's all me, right? But you built me an incredible high-end, top-notch rifle. I want to talk about my rifle, and if you want to go to the YouTube feed, you go to YouTube, look up WIBC Gun Guy. It's right here live, and we got a camera on Ross, and as importantly, a camera on my damn rifle. And we're going to have Ross talk about my rifle a little bit, and how this is an example of the kind of fighting rifles, really, that Rock Up Defense Solutions is cranking out. Sound good?
Sounds good to me.
All right, we come back. Whenever I say the words "sound good," I always hear Brad Pitt in Inglourious Bastards, where he's given the speech at the very beginning. Sound good?
Yep.
and I like I said, I didn't serve in the military, so I can't do the drill sergeant thing. But I always hear that in my voice when I sound those in my head when I hear those words. At any rate, right now we're taking a break. We'll be right back. This is Guy Relford on the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
Kendall and Casey.
There's no way Hogsett didn't know exactly what this guy was, what he was doing. Not only did he keep him around, but then he brought him back. He was rid of him and then brought him back in 2023 for his re-election campaign against Jefferson Shreve. Hogsett can't plead stupid on this. He can't plead ignorant on this. He knew what the guy was, and the question is, why did he keep bringing him back?
Kendall and Casey, weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Guy Relford for tactical firearms training. Our most popular course, as you often hear me say, is our Essentials of Indiana gun law class. I taught one of those today out at Indy Arms, had a great full class. It was sold out. We've got another one. This is all the way out in November, but you want to go ahead and reserve your seat because, again, these always sell out. It's 4.5 to 5 hours of the most important legal information you need as an Indiana gun owner. And we're going to be out in Avon, right down the road from Rockop Defense Solutions, and my buddy Ross that we're talking to today. We're going to be at Parabellum Firearms and Indoor Range right there in Avon from 9 a.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. It's $50 for an individual, $95 for couples. It's just 4.5 to 5 hours of the most important legal information you need as an Indiana gun owner. We'd love to see you there. Come out and join us at Parabellum on November 9th. Just go to tactical-firearms.com. Click on upcoming courses at tactical-firearms.com.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
People are talking about Window Nation. Their Window Nation customer, Vicky, says, we couldn't be happier. This was a great experience. She's just one of over 33,000 5-star reviews. That's because Window Nation is all about the value. And this August, they're giving you great value during the Window Nation anniversary sale. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free, plus no interest or payments for 24 months. And if you act now, you'll get an extra $250 credit.
Window Nation values your satisfaction in their quality, service, and affordability. That's why they stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty. Window Nation was also recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. So you can trust Window Nation for high-quality, affordable windows. Hurry, this big sale ends August 31st. Schedule that in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
I'm embarrassed to say this. I've been using deodorant on my armpits for 30 years, and anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed another shower, I wasn't clean, or I felt like there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole body deodorant for pits, feet, and privates that controls odor anywhere and everywhere on your body. Since Lumi, I never have to worry about body odor ever again, anywhere on my body. And that reassurance is worth every penny.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code SHOWER and get 15% off your first purchase with code SHOWER, like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LUME deodorant.com, code SHOWER for 15% off your first purchase. With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I am so sure you're going to love it. Or return it for free with Lumi's 60-day money-back guarantee. That's LUME deodorant.com, code SHOWER to save 15% today.
PA Jewelers in Brownsburg is your place for fine jewelry, custom pieces, one-of-a-kind pieces, vintage pieces, and also your place to sell jewelry. 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms. You have old jewelry from grandma or jewelry you don't wear anymore? Come sell it for top dollar at PA Jewelers. I've sold jewelry there. My wife has. You're going to love the prices. PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, premierarms.com.
Aren't you worried Max might run off? He's safe. We installed Invisible Fence. See his special color? So he can roam freely but won't leave the yard? Exactly. And it was so easy. Invisible Fence installed everything and even sent out an expert to train Max. I need Invisible Fence for Roxy.
Go to invisiblefence.com to get started today, absolutely risk-free. Give your pet freedom and safety. Go to invisiblefence.com right now and schedule your free consultation. Go to invisiblefence.com. That's invisiblefence.com.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Would you like fries with that? Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Your rights, your responsibilities, your guns. This is The Gun Guy with Guy Relford on 93 WIBC.
And welcome back. I'm Guy Relford on the Gun Guys Show, here with Ross Earls, one of the two owners of RockOp Defense Solutions. And as we mentioned, we got kind of a short segment here, but Ross, you built me a rifle. And I think if people are on the YouTube feed, they can actually see you and my rifle. Tell a little bit about what you built here for me, because I'm way excited about this.
Yeah, no problem. Just a real quick overview of what this is. This is our 16-inch mid-length gas system offering. This is the ROD, RockOp Defense Solutions 15. In the S configuration, which is our Stay Hard edition. Basically, it's our top tier offering that we have.
And by the way, we have cleared it.
And I'm just getting ready to. Yeah, and I'm going to do that on camera so everybody can see. So we're going to make sure that we're no mag in,
100%
clear,
no mag,
chambers clear. We're good to go. Safety's on.
Yep.
So with this rifle, basically, with our top offerings, we have a cold hammer forged barrel from Centurion Firearms. It was actually right here in Bargersville, Indiana.
Awesome.
Shout out to Monty and Corey over there. They have some really high quality components. It's a chrome line barrel, mid-length gas system. It has upper and lower matched key marked serial forged receivers that are actually finished here in Bloomington, Indiana, from a company called MSP Armory. Shout out to my buddy Johnny Good over there, who takes care of us. I have conversations with him on the regular. We have an LDR1, which is actually patented now by MSP Manufacturing. So they make our upper receiver, lower receiver, finish it for us, and then our handguard. We've got a new handguard getting ready to come out, so be looking for that on social media, and we'll get to that connection here shortly.
Now, there's a fabulous two-stage trigger in this particular AR, and it is you saw my face when I pulled the trigger on this first time in your shop the other day.
Absolutely.
I lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah, you did.
And I know there are a number of different trigger options, but this trigger is fabulous.
It is a very good trigger. And we tried when I go through trigger selection, I sat down with the manufacturer, and we really wanted to make sure we had solid offerings. And when I say we're making fighting rifles, I'm not making, long range precision bolt guns necessarily, but I don't, there's Geisley triggers, there's Timney triggers, there's a lot of triggers out there, but I wanted to have a selection of triggers that was solid and good to go, and would include, some precision option for a fighting rifle. But yeah, it's a two-stage trigger. It's awesome.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're coming up on the end of the show. We gotta bail off here, but RockOp Defense Solutions, check them out in Avon, Indiana. Thanks to my friend Ross Earls. This is the Gun Guy Show on 93 WIBC.
High five! Up top! Heck yeah!
Dave's company just got the first ever 5-year price lock guarantee